So you said something that I think is really important. You talked about leading with value.
Yep.
How can we do a better job? I mean, just small businesses, salespeople, right?
Yep.
That run financial businesses, or a car salesperson, or a hairstylist, or something like that. How do we lead with that? What's a good example of how we can lead more with value?
Yep. So for a generic example, then I'll give you a specific one as well, is you want to give whoever you're speaking to enough good information that even if they don't business with you, you left them better than you found them. So in my world, if I'm talking to a potential client, it's going to be service based. What I'll do is I'll make a screen share video with Loom, right? After our call, I'll say, this is some of the stuff we talked about. I want to show it to you. And even if you don't hire me, this video right here is worth real money in your pocket and I don't want anything for it. Off you go. So that's very, very powerful, very effective. But you could do that in a face-to-face or in the environment. Leave them better than you found them. Give them real information, whether they work with you or not, that's going to help them.
And I think, even just on social media,
Yep.
building your brand, I think that's an important key, that you should always be giving away free information. Just tell people what you think, give
Yep.
your opinion, keep sharing, 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 because I mean, eventually they're going to buy from someone,
Yeah.
and they generally will buy from the people that they like and they trust, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a hesitation with a lot of people. They don't want to be salesmen. Oh, it feels dirty. Well, people like you said buy. We buy all the time. Every day we're buying something. So why not have them buy it from you? Just be yourself. I give you permission to be your authentic self, and you'll repel people and you'll attract other people. That's true for all of us.
I think sometimes people, they want to be liked by every single person. They
It's
want
impossible.
every single, it's impossible. You
Yeah.
can't. It's not, I mean, the president of the United States is not going to only gets 49. One guy
Yeah.
gets 49, the other guy gets 51, so I mean, what do you do? I mean, and so I think that it's better just to be you and share your authentic story, and
Yep.
share what you believe and share what you think, and give your information as freely as you can, because eventually they're going to buy from somebody.
Yep.
Because do you notice that some people don't want to share things because they feel like, well, if I share this, I'm giving away my information, and
Yeah.
what if they don't buy from me, right? Because I'm sure
Yeah.
people will tell you that. They're like, why would this guy do that? Why would he send this really valuable video that's worth money to that person, like giving away this free information? Why would he do that for free, right?
Yep.
What would you say to somebody that asked you that?
Yeah, you'll hear that, and one reason I'll do it is because they're not me. Like all of us are the X factor. All of us have a different perspective, a different way of doing things. So that's part of it. And I know that if I give you the a video to build a $15,000 funnel for your business, you're probably not going to act on it. That's nothing against you or anybody else, but the average person will not take consistent action, in most things. And it's not because they can't, they just choose not to. It's easy to do, it's just as easy not to do. So there's no real it's a waste of time to be scared of giving away too much or somebody's going to get you and put you out of business. You are your only competition.
And I think that, I mean, come on, let's be honest. I mean, the law of attraction says, what you give, you get. And
Yeah.
I think that you keep, giving and giving and giving. And I don't know, my whole life I've given away information for free. I spoke
Yeah.
across the country. I mean, before Zoom, of course, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I was getting on planes and going places across the country for free. I mean, as long as they bought me a nice dinner and put me up in a hotel. I mean, I was speaking to large crowds. But what's crazy is my business every year kept getting bigger, and we
Hmm.
kept having more success, and we kept making money. And so I think people lose I don't know, it's almost like it's a lack of abundance mentality, that, you know, that what I'm giving, I'm not going to have anything left if I keep
Yeah.
giving. And
Yep.
the truth is, it's abundance mentality, right? There's enough for all of us to be rich. There's enough for all of us to be successful. And you're totally right, man. They're not you. People come to me because they want information. They want to know more. They'll pay me for that now.
Yeah.
But my whole life, it's just been like, hey, let's give it away. So anyways, I'm interested because you're kind of like you seem like a really intelligent guy to me. I mean, you seem like a really smart guy to me. Were you like an engineer or anything like that? Like, were you like, what kind of grades did you get in school? I'm just curious.
It's funny because once upon a time, my dream in life was to be an architect. Loved the idea of building stuff, and we had a career day at one of my high schools. I went to three high schools, but never moved houses. Just kind of moved around and that kind of thing. But district kept growing. But anyway, this architect came in for career day, and I never forget. He came in from the right side of the room, and I watched this guy walk in. And I'm really good at reading people, something I've always had. And I was like, man, this guy's not happy to be here. And like the first thing he said was, if anybody here wants to be an architect because you want to make good money, it's the wrong field for you. And I was like, oh. And he just clearly hated his job and his life because of his job. So that one presentation just completely destroyed it for me. But in school, my grades were okay. I was always super bored. I'm positive I have ADD. Back then, nobody talked about that. So they were just like, this kid's not disciplined. So school wasn't really the greatest fit for me. Once I get into college and I started paying for some of that, my grades got a whole lot better. So it's like, hey, I'm paying how much for this? I better do well, you know. But school was never capturing my potential. That's for sure.
I think learning. I'm pretty good at reading people too, and I
Yeah.
think learning is kind of easy for you as long as you're interested in it.
Absolutely.
And
That's
that's
scary how well you put that together. But yeah, if my son's the same way. If we're into it, we become obsessed with it and we retain it well. So, yeah.
No, no, I feel the same way. I mean, look, I don't pride myself as having a high IQ, and I'm always the last in my family to get the joke, and they laugh at me and they make fun of me. But what's interesting is the things that catch my passion.
Yeah.
I'll go all in, and I know so much about those things, and I become incredibly talented in those areas because I love to do it. But if it's an area I'm not talented at, I just don't do it.
Yep.
I
I'm
just
with you.
choose to delegate that. So, but just getting back a little bit to, maybe a little bit of advice. I want to kind of clean this up in the last couple of minutes that we have,
Sure.
and just like, if there's a message that you could give that small business owner, and they're just struggling to generate leads because everybody needs leads, everybody needs more people to talk to, what's a couple of ideas that you could, like, if you were just have a conversation with them right now and tell them kind of what to do as somebody that's experienced in this area? You've generated a lot of leads, a lot of business for a lot of businesses, been hugely successful at what you do. We want to know, like, just tell us, man, what should we be doing? What are we missing?
Yep. So it's a good question. I think working on your offer is really good advice. And here's what I mean. If you're a heating, ventilation and air conditioning company, don't do the same thing as everybody else around you. Try something different. Dare to stand out a little bit. So when I say working on your offer, how can you package what you do into maybe a different way, right? Pay attention to the customers you do have. Ask them, what else should I be doing that I'm not paying attention to? Some of the very best ideas I've ever had in my business have come from clients. Or I've had people say, hey, I'm not a client yet, but if you do this, I'll pay you today. And I'm like, sold, let's do it. It makes sense. Let's go. So working on your offer, thinking about, am I presenting whatever it is that I do or sell? Am I presenting it in a memorable way? It's different. And another piece is don't try to do everything. I see so many people get overwhelmed, especially with social media. Oh my God, I've got to be in all these places. I can't keep up. Figure out what works for you. If you're strictly business to business, LinkedIn and Facebook are probably the place for you. If you're strictly business to consumer and you know that your average person that you work with is under 30, it's probably Instagram or TikTok or some other places. So just simple logical moves like that can be really effective. And I'll say one more thing, and a lot of people will argue with me on this, and that's okay. I won't lose sleep over it, but I think consistency in marketing is more important than content, just barely. Because think about working out or playing golf or anything else. If you're not consistent, you're not going to get better. Doesn't matter how good the workout is. If it's once a week, probably not going to be really impressed with the results a year later. So there you go.
And I think that's a great point because it's all about eyeballs, man. Let's be honest here. I mean, I posted a video 2 years ago that nobody remembers. Nobody. I mean, I posted content, a video, whatever I was doing 2 years ago. nobody remembers it. Nobody cares about it anymore. It doesn't really mean anything to any of those people. But because my audience sees me every day, every day, every day, the consistency, the eyeballs, hundreds of thousands of views on various platforms every single month, that adds to an audience that kind of can trust you a little bit. They
Oh
go,
yeah.
this guy's been putting out a podcast for 2 years. I've done 120 interviews or something like that. People just trust and they know that Daniel Alonzo is a rock in his field, in his industry. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to those ideas. And that's why people, I think, tend to trust you. I mean, I tell my agents, I run a financial services organization. We have 1,500 agents. I tell these guys all the time, I said, you have to get more eyeballs. More people need to know your name. They need to know who you are. I tell people on Instagram, like, don't have your name as like hot tamale #1, like put it as your real name, even if you have to put, Daniel Alonzo 100. I think TikTok made me do Daniel Alonzo 100 because it was already Daniel Alonzo taken. So, but it's like people got to see your face. They need to see your information and they need to know that it's consistent. Am I making any sense? Am I right about this, wrong about this?
I agree with you spot on. I think you're right on the money for sure.
Thank you for watching our short clips on Alonzo Academy. If you'd like to watch the next short clip, click here. If you'd like to watch the entire podcast, click here.